Today, we are going to explore the various warning signs that point to a failing torque converter clutch solenoid. This component is an absolutely essential element within your vehicle's automatic transmission system. A simple way to understand its job is to picture it as an intelligent switch. This switch is responsible for managing the connection between your car's engine and its transmission, ensuring they cooperate in perfect harmony. When the torque converter clutch solenoid is functioning as it should, it precisely dictates when the engine and transmission should be locked together and when they should operate independently. Think of it like a highly efficient traffic controller at a busy intersection, managing the flow of power from the engine to the wheels. This careful management allows your car to run with optimal efficiency, preventing serious issues such as the transmission overheating. The entire torque converter unit is strategically positioned between the engine's rear output and the transmission's front input. If this system fails to work correctly, your vehicle will inevitably begin to display a variety of performance-related problems. Let's delve into the specific symptoms of a bad torque converter clutch solenoid, starting with the more subtle indicators and progressing to the more severe and unmistakable signs of trouble. 1. Fluctuations in engine RPM. The very first clue you might notice is an unsteady engine speed, or RPM. The solenoid's primary duty is to regulate the clutch that connects the engine's power to the transmission. In a healthy vehicle, this connection is managed so smoothly that your engine's RPM remains stable and predictable during driving. However, when the solenoid begins to fail, it loses its ability to control that clutch with precision. This breakdown in communication can cause the engine and transmission to become unsynchronized. As a result, you will likely observe the needle on your RPM gauge jumping up and down erratically, even when your foot is steady on the gas pedal. This happens because the power transfer from the engine to the wheels is no longer smooth and consistent. It's as if the engine is trying its best to maintain a steady pace, but the faulty solenoid is constantly interrupting the flow. 2. Poor fuel economy. Another clear indication of a problem with the torque converter is a noticeable decrease in your vehicle's fuel efficiency. The solenoid is designed to engage the torque converter clutch at specific speeds, which effectively locks the engine and transmission together. This direct locked connection is crucial for good gas mileage because it minimizes the engine's workload and eliminates power loss through slippage. When the solenoid fails and cannot engage the clutch properly, this lock-up function is lost. Consequently, the engine is forced to work significantly harder to maintain the car's speed. This extra, sustained effort means that your engine burns much more fuel than it normally would, simply because it cannot operate in its most efficient state. 3. Rough or hard shifts. A properly functioning torque converter clutch solenoid ensures that gear changes are almost imperceptible. It helps control the exact moments when the clutch engages and disengages, a process that must be incredibly smooth for the transmission to shift gears seamlessly. When the solenoid is faulty, it can no longer regulate this delicate process correctly. This leads to abrupt, jerky, or clunky gear changes. Instead of gliding smoothly from one gear to the next, the transmission may seem to hesitate or slam into gear. This creates the uncomfortable sensation of rough or hard shifts that you can feel throughout the vehicle while driving. It feels as if the car's internal timing is off, making it feel less responsive and turning your smooth ride into an uncomfortable one. 4. A slipping transmission. If you ever feel a sensation where your car's engine revs up but the vehicle doesn't accelerate as it should, you are likely experiencing transmission slippage. This is a classic symptom of a failing torque converter clutch solenoid. This slipping occurs because the solenoid is not engaging the clutch firmly enough, creating a partial or complete disconnect between the engine's power and the transmission. To identify this issue, pay close attention to how your car behaves during acceleration. If you notice the engine RPMs suddenly spiking without a corresponding increase in your actual speed, or if there's a noticeable delay before the power engages, it's a strong sign that the clutch is not holding as it should. 5. Shuddering and jerking. The purpose of the torque converter system is to provide a smooth and steady transfer of power for a stable ride. When the clutch mechanism inside the converter is compromised by a faulty solenoid, it can no longer engage or disengage in a fluid motion. This failure creates an uneven and inconsistent flow of power between the engine and the transmission. It is this irregularity that causes you to feel sudden shakes, jolts, or vibrations, particularly when you are accelerating or as the transmission is shifting. It can feel as if the car is struggling to find a stable rhythm, and this internal struggle manifests as the shuddering and jerking sensations you experience. 6. Overheating of the transmission. Should your car's transmission feel unusually hot, or if you notice a decline in shifting smoothness, it could be directly linked to a bad torque converter clutch solenoid. When the solenoid is not working correctly, the constant slipping and inefficient engagement of the clutch generate a tremendous amount of excess friction. This friction, in turn, creates excessive heat that builds up within the transmission. This is a dangerous condition that can lead to permanent damage. Be vigilant for other signs that often accompany overheating, such as a distinct burning smell, which is the odor of scorched transmission fluid, or gears that are slipping more frequently. 7. The check engine light illuminates. When the check engine light suddenly appears on your dashboard, it is your vehicle's primary method of communication, alerting you that something is wrong within its complex systems. A faulty torque converter clutch solenoid is a common culprit that can trigger this warning light. The solenoid's failure directly impacts the transmission's performance, and the vehicle's onboard computer system detects this malfunction. When an error is detected, the computer stores a specific diagnostic trouble code and activates the light to warn you. If you see this light, it is highly advisable to use an OBD2 scanner to read the stored codes. This can help you confirm if the issue is related to the solenoid, allowing you to address the problem before it escalates. 8. Activation of limp mode. Many modern vehicles are equipped with a protective feature known as limp mode. The car's computer will intentionally restrict performance if it senses a severe problem with the transmission, such as a non-responsive torque converter clutch solenoid. This mode is designed to protect the transmission from further, more catastrophic damage. When the solenoid fails, the transmission can no longer operate as designed, and the car's computer intervenes by limiting engine power and often locking the transmission in a single gear. You might find that turning the car off and restarting it temporarily resolves the issue and takes it out of limp mode. However, the problem will almost certainly return as soon as you reach highway speeds because the underlying solenoid issue remains unresolved and the transmission continues to malfunction. Let's now look at what can cause a solenoid to fail. A leading cause of solenoid malfunction is a lack of proper maintenance, specifically concerning the transmission fluid. If the fluid becomes old, dirty, or burnt, or if it is not changed at recommended intervals, it can become filled with tiny particles. This contaminated fluid can clog the very fine passages inside the solenoid or cause its moving parts to stick, leading to failure. Electrical problems can also be the source of the issue. If the solenoid consistently receives too much or too little voltage due to wiring issues or problems with the car's electrical system, it can wear out prematurely and cease to function correctly. This directly impairs the solenoid's ability to do its job, which in turn affects your car's overall performance. To help confirm a torque converter clutch solenoid failure, an OBD2 scanner may reveal one or more of the following trouble codes. P0740 indicates a general problem within the torque converter clutch circuit. P0741 suggests an issue with the clutch's performance or that it is stuck in the off position. P0742 points to the clutch circuit being stuck in the on position. P0743 signals an electrical problem within the clutch circuit. P0744 indicates that the circuit is experiencing an intermittent or inconsistent problem. These codes can provide valuable guidance in diagnosing the specific nature of the problem. Additionally, you should inspect your transmission fluid. If it appears dark, dirty, or has a burnt smell, it indicates internal trouble. Listening for unusual noises or feeling for slippage during gear changes can also help confirm a solenoid issue. What is the cost of replacement? When it comes to replacing a faulty torque converter clutch solenoid, the cost can typically range from approximately $100 to $350. This price range is influenced by your specific vehicle's make and model, as well as the labor costs charged by the repair shop. If you have the skills to perform the replacement yourself, your costs could be lower, especially if you are able to reuse the existing transmission fluid.